I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. They're running?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, comment from the public at this time. Righty, no comments from the public at this time. You'll have a chance at the end of the meeting. Minutes of the previous meeting, the regular meeting of April 21st. Your board, you all have copies. Is there any additions or deletions?
I'll make a motion to accept the minutes of the previous meeting of April 21st, 2008.
I'll second.
Moved by trustee Jefferson, seconded by Shore. Trustee Baker. Is there any discussion? There being no discussion, all those in favor, vote by your side of aye.
Aye.
Bills, you all have copies of the bills.
We have no additions or deletions this evening.
Oh, thank you.
I'll make a motion to pay the bills tonight.
Second.
Moved by trustee Jefferson, seconded by trustee Penfield. Any discussion? There being no discussion, all those in favor, vote by your side of aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carried. Correspondence.
First item I have is from Rebecca Covey of World Warehouse and Distribution. To whom it may concern, I am the Entertainment Committee Chair for the Plattsburgh Relay for Life 2008. In addition, I am the team captain for our World Warehouse team from work. The Relay for Life is a yearly event that supports and encourages the cancer survivors in our area, as well as remembering and honoring those we have lost. All of us have been touched in some way by this disease. The relay will take place on June 13th this year at the Clinton County Fairgrounds in Plattsburgh from 7 p.m. to 7 a.m. on June 14th. We are looking for ways to raise money, and we would like to have a rummage bake sale. We would like permission to use the park in Rouses Point for our sale. The tentative date is May 24th. All proceeds from this sale will support the American Cancer Society. Our team has raised over $3,000 thus far, and our goal is to surpass $5,000. We would really appreciate your help. I believe that they had it for last year also, but then they had to cancel.
Okay. I'll make a motion to allow World Warehouse and Distribution use of the Rouse Park for the rummage bake sale on May 21st of this year.
I'll second.
Moved by trustees Jefferson, seconded by trustee Baker. Any discussion? There being no discussion, all those in favor, vote by the usual sign of aye.
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 Motion carried.
The next item I have is just an announcement. The National Train Day is scheduled for May 10th, 2008. It's an open house at the station on Pratt Street from 11 until 2:30 p.m. It's sponsored by the Rouses Point Champlain Historical Society. The next item I have is a letter came in certified to the village clerk as per alcoholic beverage control law, section 64 and 109. It is our requirement to inform you of our intent to renew our liquor license. The liquor license serial number, bond number, the term begins July 1st, 2008 and expires June 30th, 2009. This is Constantinos Baptist, the president of Angelo's Pizza and Grill.
That's information only, board.
Yes. The next letter I received was from Betty Little. It's to the mayor. It was, I am delighted to inform you that funding in the amount of $40,000 has been approved to acquire and develop 3 parcels of land located on the shore of Lake Champlain in the village downtown as a downtown park with lake access and public dockage. I have appreciated and enjoyed working together with you to help fulfill this vital need. Most importantly, I would like to take this opportunity to commend your initiative and effort to ensure success. I would welcome the chance to be kept updated on your progress. The state agency assigned to your project will be in contact with you to assist you in setting up a contract and to provide information on how this grant will be administered. As in the past with all state grants, the offices of the Attorney General and the Comptroller have final contract review. It is always a pleasure to send some good news, and I wish you the best of luck in proceeding with your plans. If you need any help along with the contractual path, please do not hesitate to contact her office for assistance. And I look forward to working with you in the future. Elizabeth Lewis. That's all I have tonight.
Thank you, Carol. Yes, Arson.
Can I go back to bills for a second?
Sure.
I have one deletion.
Oh, that's it. different thing.
I forgot about it. All it is the American Waterworks Association membership renewal. It's actually a bill for next budget year, so that's why it's being taken off the list, so.
Okay.
$308.
Want to change my motion?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, you'll have to.
I'll amend my motion to pay the bills as amended tonight.
Second.
Sorry about that.
Moved by trustee Jefferson, seconded by trustee Penfield. Any discussion? There being no discussion, all those in favor, vote by the usual sign of aye.
Aye.
Those approved, motion carried. What did I say?
Some approved, motion
It's
carried.
supposed to be those opposed.
Supposed to say those opposed, right? Tried to do too many things, it's been a tough day.
He spent it with me.
Yeah. And that wasn't good. Oh, yes, yes. Okay, I have a report of the mayor and the board of trustees. The first thing on is discussion of Horizon Tower. I have been in contact with Horizon. I have to give them a call probably tomorrow. Told them the board's wishes, they wanted to look at alternate sites. They're willing to look, but they feel that the water tank is the best site because that's a higher point in the village than any other place. So, at that, Joe's willing to come up on the 19th meeting, discuss anything. I thought of a couple of properties, but I had cold water thrown on one immediately, and that was behind the sewer plant. There's no electricity available there. It would be very, very expensive to bring the electricity down to that. The other one, piece of property I was thinking about is the old trailer park, Revenue Trailer Park. We own that. Like I said, he's gotta look at it, so. That's where it stands at this point. The other thing is, I talked to Tom Renane today about it, and he has some concerns, and he said, before you do anything, I wanna see the contract. I said, before we do anything on the contract, we'll certainly send it to you. I don't know if you wanna approve them to go ahead at the water tank and come up with a proposed plan that we can look at, or wait and see what they wanna do.
Did you say he was willing to come up and talk to us?
Yep,
I would say we wait until he's here and we get our questions answered, because there's no
Okay.
sense in them going through with a proposed plan that might not prove fruitful for them.
I don't have a problem with that. Okay.
We've got a problem with the cell tower, so I hope that we vote the right way. And
Yeah.
cell towers are just a fact of life. It's hurting business if we don't have the cell tower. I mean, I know in my house, I take my cell phone by the door, I can talk on it. Anywhere else in the house, I can't get out, so, I hope that we don't get locked in and say, oh, we don't want a cell tower up here, because I think it would be really detrimental to the business in the village, so that's the only thing I have to think about that. Well,
Well, the other thing too is, board, the water fund can certainly use that money. The water fund's hurting. And $15,000 a month, or $1,500 a month, yeah, $1,500 a month, will help with maintenance of the tank, and that's, one issue that we would not have to fund.
Why would that go into the water fund necessarily, Joe?
Well, that's what, because if we put it at the water tank, it would be only fair.
Well, can we do that our side?
I believe so, yeah.
So we can take the revenue from that and apply it to any of the
Because
funds?
you are, that property is paid for by water funds, so obviously the revenue would go towards the water fund. Then if for some reason you decided you wanted it down the sewer fund, then obviously it's gonna go to the sewer fund, so. The sewer fund money's to pay for that.
I make a motion that we let them take the property by the water tank.
I need a second.
I didn't get
For
that
discussion.
motion.
Well, I agree with trustee Baker, because, I mean, I think it's a given that people want a cell tower here in the village. And whether,
They want the tower, but they certainly want cell communication.
well, the only way they're gonna get communications is with the tower, so there's no other way around it. So, I mean, did you wanna listen to another proposal? I mean, if they vote that day, or they tell us they can't come up with another, we could probably approve it, like real soon.
Yeah, we can, I suppose. Or we can wait till the next meeting, but the longer we wait, the less. chance
Yeah, I'd
we-
like to get him up here before the meeting during the day so he can review the sites.
Well, I understand everything you're saying, but again, we are doing this to accommodate, I know the idea is to provide better cell service. We are doing this to accommodate a particular cell vendor. They can come up here anytime and look at the sites. If they are truly interested in putting a tower in Rouses Point, and we want them to, then fine. But let's make sure that it's in the best place that we can find to both provide service and not be an eyesore, and not be something that the residents across the street from it are going to have to look at, and maybe check some different sites. It may not be a bad idea, but let's make sure that we put it in an appropriate place in the village. And I think that we also have to look at in the future, if we allow Verizon to erect a tower, one of the things that we've been looking at in the codes review process are the heights of structures in the village, such as towers. And once you have allowed one in, it's going to be very difficult to then write into the zoning code what has been discussed in that committee about restricting the heights of other towers in the village. And I just think that's something for us to consider. If still the best decision is to go ahead and allow that, then fine, but again, they want to do business in the village of Rouses Point, probably as much as our residents might want the better cell coverage. But the onus should be on Verizon then to come up here and work with us to find the most appropriate place to put it.
They've already been up here. They have been up
They
here.
haven't been up here to speak to the board, George.
No,
They
no.
may have come into the village,
They came
but-
in with engineers and they looked at the site, they met with Malinsky, they met with Dougie, they met, and that's when we determined that they could not put it on the water tank.
and that's fine. But where's the communication between Verizon and their engineers and the board of trustees? They may have met with Doug, and they may have met with Gary, and that's fine, that's great. But where's the communication with the board that's gonna have to make the
Well,
decision?
they sent me an email saying that, this is an alternative and we would keep the same parameters. They would pay us $1,500 a month, even though it's their tower. And also, if any other cell phone service goes on that tower, each one of them will pay us, they go on $1,500 a month.
And again, I'm not objecting to that, but they're paying us $1,500 because they're putting it on land that the village owns.
I understand that.
So it's not as if they're doing us any favors. They are in business to make money. The village is in business to protect the interests of the village. If there's a more appropriate site in the village to place the tower, let's just investigate that.
We've said that we agreed to it, so I don't think we need to belabor it anymore. It will be up here on the 19th, the meeting for the 19th.
But you have a motion on the floor,
No,
so.
no, I'll take it back. We'll wait till the 19th, see what they say. We're gonna vote one way or another that night,
Yeah,
one way or another.
I wanna talk to him tomorrow and ask him to come up earlier so that he can look at the sites first and then make his presentation.
Maybe we could suggest some sites.
No.
Seeing it, I just think that it's up to
Well,
us to
I've
look
already-
at,
the two sites that we were thinking about was the sewer plant or revenue.
Yeah, and maybe Verizon be willing to put the electricity in behind the sewer plant. You never know, George.
Yeah, you never know, but
You're
I
talking
don't.
about a private enterprise business.
That-
Believe me, Verizon is not coming into town to make our residents
Well,
happy.
it's
That's
not
not the
private.
reason they're coming to Rouse's Point. It may make a lot of people happy, I agree with you, Brian. There is a need for improved cell service. But that's not, Verizon is not coming here to do the village any favors. So,
I'm more leaning towards not restricting business, so I think the more business, the better. And the better cell service,
but that's not business. There will be no employees at the cell tower. It's not a business. It's them using our land to provide a service.
businesses are not gonna use the cell tower, the cell service.
The businesses here in the village?
Yeah.
I don't know.
That's what they use, is a cell phone. That's what it is.
Do they? I guess I'm not aware of that, so.
There's a lot.
Did you use a cell phone in your business, John? When you had the trucking? Did you have good cell service here in Rouses Point?
Terrible.
Terrible. So there's a good example right there that,
Well, look,
we'll talk about it when they come up.
when they come up, we'll talk about it and see where it goes.
Let us know the time, and I'll go with you.
Yeah, and
I gotta
again,
talk to the guy tomorrow.
Okay.
let's just make sure that it's appropriate for the village as well. And then everybody wins. Everybody has improved cell service and it's appropriate for the village.
Okay. All right, so next thing on my agenda is request to approve boat lot grant. We discussed this, I've talked to the village superintendent. He absolutely does not want to do this. He said that was designed for handicapped people, and he suggested it stay.
I have no problem with that.
And that's what I want to report.
So, should we get back, are we getting back to Alex on
Yeah,
that?
I think we should write him a letter and state to him that the superintendent said when that was put in, it was designed so that handicapped people wouldn't fall in the lake, and if we open it up, they could.
That's the only person that said anything.
That's the only person that's complained. Okay, that's that one. All right, the next discussion is electrical vehicle for the recreation department. For a couple of years now, Mike has been asking me, and when I was out at the municipal electric, the power authority was there, their representative on their alternate vehicle program that we got, the hybrid car, was there, made a report. The program is like 4 years in the running and it's starting to run out of money. And they suggested if we want to do anything is do it now because by next year there just won't be any money left. I think there's about 200,000 left in it. I have batted my brains for since last week to get quotes on an electric car. It has to be electric. Right. I come to find out John Deere don't make one. Husqvarna makes one. It's made for them by Club Car. And I got a hold of Sac Sales today. They're the Club Car dealer down in Manans for this area. And I got a quote, I gave Mike the information, Mike looked at it, and they wanted a Club Car 2. The reason why they wanted a 2 is that it has extended batteries and it has a 70-mile range. It gives you this longer. He said the Club Car 1 is $5,174. You gotta add $1,800 for the Club Car 2 upgrade. Total price anyway, with top windshield and the electric dump box and delivery and everything is $8,365. I can call tomorrow the Power Authority. They will send up the paperwork. They will send us the money for it, and we pay them back in 3 years period. That's so much a month.
Will we have it,
No interest.
will we have it in time for the 4th of July parade?
Oh, hell yeah, you're gonna have it next week. What?
Great. We've been borrowing golf carts and, you know, it's a liability.
Well, the other thing is, if you see them go around mowing lawns outside the rec center here, you see them with a tractor, and,
Aren't they usually riding on their mowers, or no?
well, they're riding a mower, or the mower that they don't use, they ride up with, pulling the trailer with a hand lawnmower in it, and then get out and mow the lawn. You know what I'm saying? They're using the mowers as a vehicle. Like up in front of lane courts, just for instance, that little stretch of grass that never gets mowed.
Right.
And every once in a while, they go up and mow that,
In the dump.
right? And they actually take either this tractor with the trailer behind it, with a push mower in the trailer, get up there and take the push mower out. This way here, just throw it on there and go, one person goes with it.
Plus, we got the dump capability, so
Some
we can
cable
do
going, there's all
topsoil.
dirt and stuff around here. So, you know,
Okay.
But like when they go to the park and the library, they take their big mowers though, right?
yes.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
When they're doing the big lawns, it's not a problem, but they gotta do the small stuff and then hauling stuff around. It's always taking the big tractor.
Did you do the math on that, Mayor Rivers?
Not yet.
Okay.
And what's the extra 1,800 for, George?
Upgrade to club car two, which
Gives them
gives them more hours. The one has, is 48 volt DC, and the one, has 6 batteries. The one has 6 batteries, it's like the standard golf cart. And the two has 2 more batteries that are hooked in parallel to give them more power.
you get 70 miles on the range, right?
Yeah, it goes up to 70 miles, it says. I don't have the literature in front of me. Ends up to be $232.36 a month.
Do we have the money for that, Arsen?
What is it?
Do you have the money for that?
How much did he say?
$232 a monthly payment. They'll bill us with our electric bill.
And in theory, this is to save fuel that we would be burning by using
Oh,
the
yeah.
tractors? Is that the theory behind it?
Yes, ma'am.
Plus, we're saving the hours on the lawnmowers too. Instead of running, we're gonna use this vehicle.
Right.
So I'll make a motion to authorize the village to purchase the electric vehicle for the Civic Center
Through the MAP program.
through the MAP
If we don't
program.
get the MAP program, there's no sense going for it.
Well, that's gonna be paid with electrical funds, so.
Yeah.
Good. I need a second. Seconded by trustee Baker. Any other discussion? I just got this, by the way. Been waiting all
I know
day
that,
for it.
I know.
Um,
Are we having a roll call vote or just a regular vote?
Regular. Unless you got something to say.
No, I just wanna say that I think I think I can vote for this because I think it's important to, save on the energy part of it. I think that,
You should vote roll call on this.
oh, okay, then I'll explain my vote when I vote.
Okay, is there any other discussion? No discussion, roll call vote, trustee Jefferson.
Aye.
Trustee Penfield.
Well, as I was saying, I will vote for it. I think it's important on the energy conservation side, and I know that through our electric program, we do an awful lot for energy efficiency, and I think that this will be a good addition. And I really think that it can be used throughout the village, right? Not just at the rec center.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So I think because of the energy conservation, I can vote for it.
Trustee Baker.
Aye.
And the mayor votes aye. Okay, the other thing is, if we can't get this through the MAP program, I'm gonna call Mike Lyons, IEP, we might be able to do something out of that too.
Or even part of it,
Yeah,
yeah?
because they gave us part of the money for the car.
Well, they've been very good to us, and, you know, we've
Well, they're
shown.
like the city of Plattsburgh, I don't know if you read the article in the paper yesterday,
Yes,
going green here, they're supposed that they have 1.2 million in their fund, and they're gonna spend it all this year.
I know.
Well, you know why, don't you? Because they have not spent enough money out of that fund, and at our last meeting, they were told, you know, you've gotta start spending this money, or the state's gonna come in and spend it for you, and you don't want that.
You know what they're doing in all the state buildings too? They're going to like,
Candles.
solar panels and stuff. Well, you know, that might be something that down the road that we might consider.
Yeah, that one panel up there at the school's $43,000.
Yeah.
You know?
That's a hell of a payback, my boy. Okay, next thing on my agenda is I need board approval to sign the contract for our attorneys. Do you all have copies of it?
Yeah, the hourly rate went up quite a bit, didn't it?
No, I think it's the same.
I thought it was 125 before.
Or 150.
It was 150?
It's the same.
Yeah, the same, it's all the same.
Okay. You wanna make, I'll make that in form of a motion to authorize the mayor to sign the agreement with village attorney Thomas Murnane.
Second.
Moved by trustee Jefferson, seconded by trustee Penfield. Any discussion?
I have a question, just, when we use another attorney from the firm,
Same price,
okay, that was my question. Okay,
same price.
That's what it goes for.
okay.
Any other, board, anything else? Do we need a roll call vote in this, no?
Okay.
Okay. All those in favor,
When in
vote.
doubt, do it.
What?
When in doubt, do it.
Okay. Roll call vote, trustee Jefferson.
Aye.
Trustee Penfield.
Aye.
Trustee Baker.
Aye.
And the mayor votes aye. And I think that's it for me, but,
No, you've got your,
wait a minute, I gotta get to
You
it.
got your supplemental, George. No, that's it.
Supplemental, I got those two on the supplemental. That's it. Oh, Lamardis and Judas. Oh, yes, thank you. I just passed this, I just got this tonight too. This is a tentative contract with Lamardis and Judas, and I don't see any price in here, but it's approximately $3,900. And that's to do the transportation enhancement, the TEP funding proposal for the railroad station. The note that the TV5 will provide 80% of reimbursement, 20% local share. All projects have a minimum total of 200,000 share, 160 non-federal share. The minimum federal share is capped at an amount of 2.5 million.
That's the maximum.
We're going after this money, and the first thing we found out is that we needed an engineering firm to write the proposal and put together the package.
I think it'd be good just to get it done,
Yeah.
regardless of what happens with this program.
And this firm right here is the number one in the state on this. I can highly recommend it. I know the president of this firm personally. His name is Nick Pinto, out of Syracuse. Very reputable, and I would recommend that we approve this. He told me today on the phone it would be between $3,700 and $3,900.
He's got on here, at the bottom of page 3, George, not to exceed 3,800.
Okay,
Under, right at the last paragraph on the bottom of page,
2.
well, it's the third page of the fax, so, page 2 of the letter, but,
It's under field.
Oh, now I see, yeah.
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 Okay.
And are they aware that we'll try to pay for this out of the money we have budgeted for next year for the railroad station?
They won't be built in June.
Okay,
Yeah.
so,
Because they gotta have this put together by June. I think the
27th.
50, June
Well,
27th.
that's when it says the application due.
Yeah, so they wanna get going on it immediately. And,
This money's available, right? 'Cause of
yeah, it's in the budget,
We'll look it up
5,000.
today.
There's 5,000 in the budget.
Okay, I'll make a motion then to allow the mayor to sign an agreement with the engineering firm of Barton and, how do you say it?
Lagudas.
Lagudas?
Who Judas?
The Judas? Looks like Laguitas to me. Okay. Sorry.
You can help me.
Huh?
I got a motion, who seconded it?
Second.
Seconded by trustee Penfield, any more discussion, board? There being no other discussion, all those in favor, vote by using sign of aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carried. And that's it for me, trustee Jefferson.
Okay, the spring cleanup days for the village of Rouses Point will commence on May 5th and will continue through Thursday, May 8th. They've already started, so if you have something out, they've been picking it up. Residents are requested to bag as much material as possible, to place it curbside by 7:30 a.m. and in such a position so that parked cars do not block the pickup truck. This would greatly facilitate the collection. Residents are reminded that this collection is for bag clippings and leaves only. The second item on my agenda tonight, I hope everyone has had time to review the water code in the village of Rouses Point. I went through and read it. It's kind of dry, but it's something that we're gonna have to vote on tonight. So I would make a motion tonight to pass the water code in the village of Rouses Point.
I don't think you can do
You
that.
can't do that, you
Oh, we
gotta
gotta have a public hearing. Oh, that's right, excuse me.
make a
That's right.
motion, go to public hearing.
Yes, and then I'll amend my motion, and I'd like to make a motion to authorize the village clerk to schedule a public meeting, public hearing on the water code in the village of Rouses Point. Excuse me.
Moved by trustee Jefferson, seconded by trustee Baker, any discussion?
Did this come from Doug?
Yes,
Yeah.
Doug and Gary worked very hard on this. Yeah. It's been back and forth about 3 times.
Yeah.
And trustee Jefferson,
Aye.
this is a water code, it can't be dry.
He's second.
Well,
Who seconded?
who seconded that? Was that you?
Trustee Baker seconded.
Okay.
Is there any discussion, board? If not, all those in favor, vote by the usual sign of aye.
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 Those opposed, motion carried.
Okay, the third item on my agenda tonight, I'd like to make a motion to authorize John Gertz to be the accredited delegate at the NIPA meeting. And I'll put that in form of a motion.
Second.
Moved by trustee Jefferson, seconded by trustee Penfield. Is there any discussion?
This is the thing that you normally do, George?
Yes, ma'am, but I will not be in town, I'll be in, down at my grandson's.
Okay.
Any discussion? There being no discussion, all those in favor, vote by the usual sign of aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries.
Okay?
George,
Is that-
it's supposed to be roll call, that one.
When in doubt, roll call.
Yeah, I know.
No, this one isn't
That's
that
all. Okay. Trustee Jefferson.
Aye.
Trustee Penfield.
Aye.
Trustee Baker.
Aye.
And the mayor votes aye.
Thank
Okay.
you.
The fourth item on my agenda tonight is change in the schedule of the water tank repair. The Village of Rouses Point has confirmed that Landmark Tank Company will begin work on the 1.5 million gallon water storage tank on June 9th. We've changed the date.
But again,
Again, yes.
okay,
And the village will begin lowering the level of the water tank during the week of 6/9/2008. The village will likely be switching from the water tank to the direct system pressure, either on 6/9 or 6/10. And basically, it's imperative that during this period, we do not experience any sudden pressure fluctuations if we are to maintain the operation of the pumps at the water treatment plant and pressure throughout the village. Loss of pressure will result in the village having to issue a boil water order, and we want to avoid this. Plus, it's very important that we lock down and we get this in stone, because our biggest customer is Wyeth, and if this doesn't go right, it will cause them to shut their production down, and we don't want to do that. So please make sure all your departments are aware of this in advance. We are also requesting water conservation during this period. Please do not use outdoor lawn sprinklers. If there are any other changes to the scheduled maintenance, you will be advised immediately. That came from Gary Malinsky. So, information.
Is that gonna be a press release, or? Is that what that is, or?
Yeah, you better get that out of the
Oh,
press.
I don't have a copy.
You know, I'll give this back to you. The only thing is, if you put it in the paper, unless we get it firmed up, it could change again. Because the problem is, after winter runs of the paint, we are running approximately 3 weeks late. We are now planning on being on the site on 6/9/2008. So, sounds to me like if the paint comes in, they're gonna come here. If the paint doesn't come in,
Then we'll have to change it. if it-
yeah, you know what we could do if worst comes to worst, we might be able to put it, send it down to Channel 5 and put it on TV too. Okay, the last item on my agenda tonight is I make a motion to authorize Gary Malinsky to attend the NYRWA Annual Conference. And again, this is part of this schedule to accomplish hours for the water filtration system in the village. So I'll put that,
The New York Rural Water Association.
and I'll put that in form of a motion.
I'll second it.
Motion by trustee Jefferson, seconded by trustee Baker. Any discussion? There being no discussion, all those in favor, vote by the usual sign of aye.
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 And that's all I have on my schedule tonight, mirrors.
Those opposed, motion carried. Yeah. Thank you, trustee Jefferson. Trustee Penfield.
Okay, one of the items I have is a follow-up on something that we discussed, I don't know if it was the last meeting or the meeting before, having to do with, some of the leftover, items in the downtown and the waterfront that we need to button up as we're waiting to, be reimbursed for our grant money, and also according to what we had, voted on previously. We had talked and we had approved the idea of purchasing the 2 banners for the north entrance and the south entrance to the downtown, but we had never actually selected a style. And in looking at some of the books again, and I have them all here if anyone's interested, I know you can only look at these things so much, but one of the ideas we had talked about in the past was this old-fashioned kind of historical looking banner. But then I decided that in just driving around to some of the other towns, there's such a similarity. In fact, you can go to some neighboring towns and see the actual banners that are in these books. So in the same type display, I was thinking about why not order a digital banner using a digital photo of a shot from Rouses Point. And we could put it so that it has something opaque in the middle so that it's two-sided. And as you're approaching, it can say, welcome to downtown Rouses Point, or just welcome to Rouses Point, with an actual picture from the village. And that would, at least be something that would tie together what we have here, as opposed to just a silkscreen banner that you can find in any town in the area. I mean, this is all coming out as part of what was in our Main Street grant money for the downtown entrances. So, I don't know, what do you think of that idea?
Can we have it ordered and up by the 4th of July?
That's the idea.
Great.
We're trying to complete all of this by the end of June at the latest. So, what do you think?
Great.
So I thought we could send someone out, maybe, even maybe get the guys in the bucket truck with a camera, so that they can take it. If you look at this picture, the one from Lockport, it's taken from kind of an elevated angle, that they can get a really nice shot on a bright, sunny, early summer day, the next couple of weeks when the trees are budded, and it might be very nice to do.
How about a nice picture on the bridge looking at the village?
Kelly, even from Tony's office upstairs, that's a
Well,
perfect shot.
Yeah, what we thought was maybe to take a couple and then we can decide maybe at the next meeting from a number of different shots. Because I think you're right, I was thinking either from the bridge or even from Montgomery Street. No, thank you. There's a certain view, as you look back with the boats in the back of with the downtown to kind of tie everything
How
together.
about if you go to the end of the sportsman's pier and take a nice picture of all the
That's
boats?
another one, because what I was thinking was when Pataki was here, there were some really nice shots taken from the end of the pier looking back. And if we could get one of those digitized and put on the banners, it would be really nice. And it would be unique.
Yeah,
So-
that's a good idea.
So maybe we'll take a shot at getting some of the images for that. The idea is that they go on the last 2 aluminum streetlights as you're headed into the downtown, at this end and then by the church. So,
What?
to announce that kind of you're entering into the downtown, 2 on the north and 2 on the south. Okay, so that's one thing. Also on the agenda bumper, this was something left over that we were gonna talk about where to put the benches in the downtown.
Can I say something?
Yes,
When you say by the church, is that the one right directly in front of the church?
the street pole. I thought it was the last 2 kind of cobra-headed lights as you're headed toward the downtown.
You don't wanna put it out further?
Okay, so it wouldn't be the banner wouldn't be in front of the church, is what I'm saying.
Oh, it's on the pole.
It's on a light pole, what, is there a problem, or?
Well, I don't know, I just thought it was.
We put a Christmas decoration there, don't we, or do we?
Yes, we do.
So, it's just to announce that you're arriving in the downtown area, because it's the area that we've designated as the downtown region, that's what they're designed for.
Well, you could probably move it up 1 light to the library.
You
Yeah.
could probably move it up,
So I was thinking, get it out a
You know?
little bit further.
that would be all right. I think the idea is to get the best shot that we can so that they're as visible as possible as you're coming into the downtown, because that's really what the project was designed for, to announce that you're in the downtown.
Well, actually, I think there's a light in front of the village office too, I think.
Yeah, but that's one of the
A
smaller
little pole,
lights.
isn't it?
It's not an aluminum one. Yes, it is, across the
Yeah,
street.
across the street it
By
is.
Liberty, near Liberty,
Yeah,
Yeah.
right in the corner there.
so somewhere in that vicinity, we got two headed north and 2 headed south. Make them double-sided
idea.
signs. So, maybe we'll take a shot at getting some pictures in the next couple of weeks and bring them to the next board meeting and see what we think. Okay? And then we have 6 benches for locations in the downtown that have already been purchased. That was a style that we voted on way back. And in trying to figure out the locations where we would put them, because I was talking to Brian about how they're gonna pour it, they're gonna put them on a concrete pad, the same thing with the bike racks that we ordered, the loops. We thought one in front of Sandy's Deli, one in front of Old Times, in the pizza place, one in front of Lakeside Coffee, maybe one in front of where the secondhand shop is now, the 93 to 95 Lake Street, and that leaves us with 2 additional. The only problem is that on the west side of the street, I have to talk to Brian because some of the properties are pretty close to the sidewalk, and we'd have to find the best way that we could locate them. Can anyone think of another area?
How about down in the park?
We could put 1 or 2 more near the park.
We own the property, so we can pour the pad.
Yeah, you wanna be, I think we wanna be very careful where we put them on the sidewalk, because come winter time,
Yeah.
and you have to plow.
Well, that's right, they're gonna have to be probably up against the buildings, I would guess.
And they definitely have to be anchored, or we'll find them in the lake.
Exactly.
Well, that's why he wants to anchor them on a concrete pad, but we do have some benches already in the park, but we could certainly maybe put 1 there. Can anyone think of any other locations?
We've got some that are going down,
This is totally different from the
I know.
pier. Yeah,
We've got some already,
yeah,
while we're on this subject, because last week we had Luck Brothers here on punch list for the pier.
right,
They claim by the end of May, they will be out of here, done.
Right.
By that time, Brian said the sidewalk will be finished.
yeah.
The grading will be all done, I don't know if you noticed it, but there's a great big pile of black dirt down there now to
Yep.
make it long. They've marked out the benches where they go on the pier. But there's some benches that are going along the side, along with picnic tables in that grassy area, that we're gonna have to mark out, because same thing, concrete path's gonna be poured.
Right, so we need to locate where they're gonna be, yeah.
Punch list went very well, just to give you, all the lighting is completed on the street, all the lighting is wired on the pier. The control panel's being put together right now, and all the wires are pulled for that lighting out there.
Great.
There was one little problem, and Luck said he will take care of it. There's some concrete in one of the conduits, and they can't get the wires through it, but Luck said he'll take care of that. We showed it to him. The meeting went very, very well. Good luck.
We'll put that sign up and then we'll be
The
done.
sign they're gonna put up, and then I believe all the other signs have been ordered. No skateboarding, the green one,
No, that's one of the things I have to talk about tonight too, for the enforcement on the waterfront.
okay.
Yeah,
All righty,
yeah.
that's end of conversation for me.
So we need spot for 2 more benches.
Well, if we put, yeah, we do basically. I mean, they don't all have to be installed at once, I mean, but it would be nice to get them located when Brian's ready to go with the concrete pads. So maybe what I'll do is next step, talk to him and find out any other, we could put one maybe in front of West Liquor Store,
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
put one there.
Yeah.
So or
Do
put
some-
one in the vicinity of Dollar General where they have their little grassy area in front here where the sign is.
That's a good idea
So-
too.
Because my concern is some of the places, and that's one thing I want to check with Brian about, in terms of, like George said, I know for having them on the sidewalk, it's an issue, but it is something that we had already purchased and planned on doing, so. But maybe near Dollar General and one near the liquor store?
Yep.
So I'll talk to Brian and see,
Sounds really good.
okay. Okay. And then also, we had approved ordering but haven't yet purchased the bike racks. And we had approved these styles to go in the downtown, mounted again on concrete. And then for the park, we had approved a larger one, which is a multiple loop, which is the same idea. But again, Brian said he would be mounting those in concrete as well. So, Carol, I'll give these to you. We had decided we would purchase 4 of the single loops for the downtown. And we went with similar locations there, places where people would be going and spending time. Sandy's Deli, Old Times Cafe, and the pizza parlor in that vicinity, the coffee shop, and then again at Westland. Maybe put one at each of those locations.
Yeah.
And then a larger one in the park. And,
Ralph Park or down here?
Nope,
On
this
Main
is,
Street.
this is
Okay.
all for Main Street. This is all out of that $25,000
The Main
streetscape
Street,
from the
okay.
Main Street grant, so it's gotta be used on Main Street. And so, but that would be, I think there'll be a black, you know, kind of powder coated, and very similar to what you see in other areas. They take up very little room, and you just pull your bike up and lock it. Okay. Okay, trash cans. We had talked about this back when we were making these other purchases for the downtown. What do you think? I know that we've had a number of people who have expressed an interest in having, you know, trash receptacles, something again with a small style top so that it's not a receptacle for household garbage, but for people who are walking, they might have a water bottle, they might have a soda bottle, they might have a cup of coffee in their hand, someplace to dispose of trash. I mean, we had put that as kind of a deciding, do we want them or not? And I think now, since we're ordering all this other, we're trying to get it in before the 4th of July, what do you think about trash receptacles?
I think it's a good idea, because it's either throw it in the garbage can or throw it on the ground, so we're paying the same whether the dumpster's full or empty, so it's better if we can just,
And you do find times when you're touring around and you're walking that you have an empty cup of coffee or an empty bottle, and you just wanna deposit it somewhere, so.
For somebody to get rid of their cigarettes.
And I have some books,
Who's gonna empty those things?
well, maybe we'll have to empty them.
somebody will have to when they do the water the flowers.
They can go in their little electric cart and throw it right in the back, so. Be a good opportunity to use the cart.
Plastic bags in there,
Yep.
tie them up,
They're gonna be watering
blue
all,
plastic bags.
watering the flowers and stuff, so they're right there in the street, so, you know, take 2 bags.
Does anyone have a preference on style or composition, or just something that matches the benches and the,
You know,
bike loops?
not your fault.
Because there are tons, I mean,
Yeah.
As long as it's in there.
I see that for a minute, please.
yes, there's that one, George, and then there's this one. And there
And
are
when
all
it comes
kinds of
fall, we'll just take them out and just put them away.
And then bike racks, by the way, 'cause the bike
How
racks.
many-
they
how
take
many
down
you
over there
ordered?
for
Gonna-
food.
I think they're locked right in to this and that.
I'm not sure how exact, I think Brian's gonna mount them, so no, they won't be. I think they'll be there, yeah. But they run, they're very thin, and they run kind of parallel to the street, so I don't think it's an issue for plowing, so. They're
I was
more in
looking-
here,
I was
George.
looking for them cigarette butt things.
There's some, yeah, there are
None in
some.
here.
You don't want those things.
Well, we need something out here. I don't know if you saw it this spring, the amount of cigarette butts.
See, there's some like that
Yeah,
in there.
yeah. But the amount of cigarette butts that was outside here this spring after the snow melted.
Because you can't smoke inside, so everybody goes outside.
Yeah.
Where the name's
Okay.
supposed to be smoked.
Actually, you should pass a local law, no smoking on any village property,
We already
period.
did.
They wouldn't, just wouldn't be able to smoke in the park then. But we need to look at something there, and Mike
Okay.
even said he's gonna look for something, I'm just curious.
Y'all have got a lot, there are all kinds of books with pictures in them, so. Okay, last thing on the downtown is, as part of the 25,000 that we have for this streetscape, one of the things that we had talked about was putting some enhancements in the village parking lot. So it's really more delineated, I know we're getting the signs, but we had talked, I don't know if it was last year or the year before, about putting some planters in so that the actual boundaries of the village parking lot are better defined, so when you pull up Washington Avenue, you realize where you're going. And, in our downtown plan, there had been some recommendations with our striping and some, small vegetation and so on, and what we could do, and again, with the hope of getting this done by the 4th of July, is total up the amount of money we have left from the 25,000 after the benches and the bike loops and the trash cans, and then take the rest of the money and maybe allocate that for sprucing up the village parking lot. With some vegetation, maybe with some large floral pots, to really make sure that it's defined. And that'll also eliminate some confusion when people pull up there with the private parking lot versus what is the village parking lot.
Wonder what it would cost to get a stripe?
I don't know, we can check.
Eventually, we could probably do that here.
Because one of the things that was suggested that we plant 8 trees around the perimeter and have 4 of the decorative barrels near the parking lot entrance signs, just to make it more attractive.
I know when we made that parking lot, we were gonna have a green area in the front, but it somehow got paved. What?
Yeah, it did,
So, there's no green area there.
Because I think it was Vic who did a design for, as part of the steering committee.
Yeah.
For part of what went into the picture that's in the downtown plan in terms of the enhancement, I think Dick had an even bigger picture of what was planned for that, but it would at least be a start, so if we could look at whatever money we have left over and just get approval and go out for quotes.
Other thing, while you're on that, Kelly, you know, we ordered 10 trees.
I knew we were ordering some trees. I didn't
10
know
trees
that-
and we get 10 free, so that's 20 trees.
good,
Brian wants to put some on Macon Street.
good.
Right. And I have no objection, I think it's a good idea because that street really needs some. Right. But we need to tell him where we want the rest of them. I don't know how many you're gonna put in Macon. I don't think he wants to put all 20.
So we need to figure out where else we could plant them. Okay,
Yeah, we got 20 trees
okay,
and they're all maple.
okay.
Good for the environment. We're going green.
Okay. Okay, so, long and the short of it is, we have the benches, are we pretty much in agreement with those locations? Okay, so I'll make a motion then that we actually, I know we've approved the purchase, but we actually order that loop style bike
Racks.
loops.
Yep.
So I'll make a motion that we order 4 of these and one of the multi-loops for the park, okay?
And you're gonna order a couple garbage cans too?
How many do you think?
Gotta have one around where they wanna sit,
I would say at least
where you're
4.
having a bench.
That's what I was saying
4?
before.
So, I'll amend my
One down-
motion to
Put
be.
one down here by the old drugstore, on the corner, coming up Montgomery Street.
Yeah, okay.
Okay?
Mm-hmm,
Put one down by the corner of the park,
park, okay,
and then come up on this corner somewhere on Pratt Street.
okay.
And the other one, down by Sandy's Deli.
Yeah, that's good.
Okay.
It's gonna cut down on the garbage in the village too, so.
Okay, so I'll amend my motion to be the 4 single bike loops, the multi-loop style for the park, and 4 trash cans.
Second.
Motion made by trustee Penfield, seconded by trustee Jefferson. I didn't see him.
Oh, how can you miss me?
What do you think about that one, John? No comment? I could think of a couple.
You'll have one for me after.
We'll let it slide. All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carried.
Okay, and then I'll make a second motion that whatever's left out of the 25,000, that we put that toward improving the village parking lot with vegetation and planters.
Second.
Moved by trustee Penfield, seconded by trustee Jefferson. Any discussion? There being no discussion, all those in favor, vote by the usual sign of aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carried.
And hopefully get back to you with quotes on that. Okay, that's it, I think, for the downtown. Next thing. Okay, one of the things that we've been tossing around, and I know that we ordered a temporary sign just to post the pier for the purposes of enforcement, is the actual decorative sign, which will be in the same style that we have at the boat launch, and now the entrance signs in the library and so on from Flying Cow, with the actual, uses of the pier, or the non-uses of the pier prohibited. Right now, we have a list that includes skateboards, bicycles, swimming, and fishing.
Why would we want to stop fishing? I'm just curious.
I think there were a couple of concerns, one being that if you have people who are on the pier as an enjoyment, sitting and perhaps eating, that having people fishing around them, it might not be that desirable. That was a lesser concern, other than perhaps people down there trying to cast while you have a group of other people.
That
on
one
the
might be a
pier.
concern, casting.
And that, it was the casting more than the mess that was a big concern, but the mess, I think, was also secondary to that in terms of keeping it clean.
Okay.
So, that was what
I
we
was
originally
curious.
had talked about, but the casting is more of a concern, especially if you have maybe a young person who doesn't really, is not that proficient at it.
He might hook his father, he might.
Well, you might hook someone you don't know, and that could be a bigger problem. So, I don't know.
There's some extra paint when my son picked up to sign the Flying Cow, that Olympic stain, it's that green color, and it was like a half a gallon or
It's
something
in the
like
village
that.
garage.
Yeah,
Well, that's
just-
good.
Yeah,
That's great.
because there's a couple signs that,
I'm gonna see if I can get Gary, in his weaker moment, to finish in 2 sides, we got the lights on.
Okay.
Yeah, then we'll have a little for touch-up when, after we put up the screws and put the sign,
Great.
so, just so
So,
we know.
so what do you think about that in terms of enforcement and the prohibited activities?
Well, that's what's up there now.
That's what we had put together, but, you know, before we do the decorative sign and actually have it
Here's
carved,
the thing,
To be
we got
sure.
signs right up here on the tennis court. It says tennis only.
right?
Tonight, what did we see? Kid riding his bicycle and skateboarder on the tennis court.
Well, again-
Well, people are playing tennis.
When I went to that skate park, the kid said, well, we don't have any money.
Well, and so what do you think in terms of,
I don't have a problem with it.
can anyone think of anything else or any problem with that?
I could think of a few things, but I wouldn't put them down on the sign.
That should cover everything.
Yeah, sounds like
Okay. And then the other thing that we have to talk about in terms of enforcement would be hours of operation or hours of occupancy.
Yeah, we need to set that.
For the residents in the area, I think it's important to have the pier be vacant after a certain hour.
Yeah.
I think otherwise it's really not gonna be very, you
You
know.
don't
10
want-
o'clock, too late.
No, 10 o'clock was actually what I had been thinking, it was also suggested by
We
Mike
need-
Bingle when I
We
talked to
need
him
to,
about it.
we need to give Brian, the day, a time, so when he sets up those lights, at 10 o'clock they go off. That's the ones on the pier.
They decided they're gonna leave them on. I talked to Mike Bingle talked with Brian today, that they're gonna leave them on just like the streetlights. They're gonna be timed with the decorative streetlights on the
And it won't have to be timed, then
So-
it'll all work off an eye.
Yeah, they're gonna be, but there will also be the option, like in the winter, of those little bollard lights, turning them off completely.
Oh,
in the
yeah.
winter, Cause they're gonna be buried.
There's a panel there, so
Yeah.
there are gonna be switches.
Turn them
So-
off to save energy.
The only question is, do we wanna put posted hours like 6 AM to 10 PM? Or do we wanna say that the pier closes at 10, but then you run into, well, when does it reopen, at 12:01 at the start of the next day? You know,
You interpret that
because
any
what
way
we
you
thought
want
would be a good idea is to take the decorative flying cow sign and do what we had thought about maybe doing at the library, which is to have a swinging sign underneath it that basically says,
Hours of operation.
hours of operation or hours of occupancy, maybe 6 AM to 10 PM, what do you think?
That's fine.
That should be fine.
And then what we could do in the winter, if we close the pier,
Just change it.
just change it and have, you know, pier
Close for the
closed,
season or
Yeah.
whatever, you know.
something that could be
Yeah, 'cause we don't
removed.
want any big parties down there at midnight.
There will be.
I know, well, they'll have to be till
Well-
they get out and scurry them out of there.
Fortunately, we have the open container law, which will help with that. I mean, we don't have to post it for any reasons, but you think 6 to 10 is decent?
I think it's decent. Sun doesn't come up till 6. And as
Well-
the day the time goes on in months, the sun comes up later.
So, okay, I'm trying to think of, the other thing too, we had talked about, George, the last thing I think I have on my list, because we talked about it, the other one was did we decide, what about garbage cans for the walkway along the shore? Because we had decided maybe or we had thought about going a year before deciding. Do you
Well,
think
you
we
go
might
a year
wanna?
and see what happens down there. I just, I think that you might find a few bottles.
Same sort of thing with, you know, for a trash receptacle on the pier itself. Do you wanna
I
just?
talked to Melissa about it. The big concern about trash cans is, number one, they could end up in a lake, that's one thing. But the other thing is, we have to pay to have the garbage removed. And we've had trash cans several years ago in the village. And they ended up that they were full of loaded diapers and garbage and everything else as people went through town.
Better off to have them there than sit by the side of the road, don't?
I agree, but
Yeah.
So we'll wait on that then.